Hello friends, myself Rajguru Jyoti from KT Patel College of Pharmacy. Today I am going to discuss on topic manufacture of a drug. So firstly we can see the definition of manufacture of a drug. Now we can see the manufacture of a drug definition. Manufacture in a relation to any drug or a cosmetic includes any process or a part of a process for making, altering or naming, finishing, packaging, labeling, breaking up or otherwise treating or adopting any drug or cosmetic for a sale or a distribution, but does not include compounding or a dispensing of any drug or the packaging of any drug or a cosmetic in the ordinary course of retail business. In that, the manufacture can include prohibition of a manufacture of a other than Schedule C or a C1, manufacture of a dose in Schedule C or a C1, manufacture of a Schedule X drug, loan license, repackaging license, and offense and penalties of manufacture of a drug. The first one is the prohibition of a manufacture. The drug not of a standard quality or misbranded, altered or a spurious, patent or proprietary medicines, drug in a Schedule J, risk to human being or a animals, drug without therapeutic value, preparation containing cyclamates. Second one is the manufacture of a drug other than in a Schedule C or a C1 procedure. A license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in prescribed form number 24 with the prescribed fees 6,000 and 1,500. If the conditions fulfilled, then license is issued in a prescribed form number 25. There are two types of conditions for all manufacturing license: conditions which are to be satisfied before a license is granted, and conditions which are to be complied with after license is granted. Then it can include the conditions. First, premises should comply with the Schedule M. Then second, the manufacture shall be conducted under the active supervision and direction of a competent technical staff. Then third, adequate facility for testing separate from manufacturing. Fourth, adequate storage facility. Fifth, any change in a premises, plant or staff, it reported to authority. Sixth, records maintained for at least 2 years from date of expiry. Seventh, license should provide sample to authority. 8. On a demand furnish data of stability. 9. Maintain the inspection book. 10. Maintain reference sample from each batch. 11. Account of a production records and maintain for 5 years or 1 year after the expiry. Then third is the manufacture of a drug, those in a Schedule C or a C1 procedure. A license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in prescribed form number 27 with the prescribed fees 6,000 and 1,500. If the condition fulfilled, then license is issued in a prescribed form number 28. It includes some conditions. The first one is the drug must be issued in a previously sterilized sealed glass or a suitable container. Second, container should comply with the requirement of a Schedule F. Then third, drug must comply with the standard of a Schedule F. Fourth, some classes tested for aerobic and anaerobic microorganism, example sera, insulin, pituitary hormones. And fifth, serum tested for a freedom from abnormal toxicity. Sixth, multi-dose container for a liquid should contain preservatives of a spore bearing pathogens. Seventh, parental in a dose of a 10 ml or a more should be tested for a freedom from pyrogens. 8. Separate lab for a culture and manipulation of a spore bearing pathogen. 9. Test for a sterility should be carried out. Then fourth one is the manufacture of a Schedule X drug procedure. A license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Control Administration on application in prescribed form number 27B with a prescribed fees 6,000 and 1,500. If the condition fulfilled, then license is issued in a prescribed form number 28B. It can include some conditions. The first one is the account of all transaction regarding manufacture should be maintained in a serially bound and paged register. Then first, account of a drug used in a manufacture in that date of a issue, name of a drug, opening balance, anticipated yield, actual yield, wastage, qualification. Then second, account of a production in that first one is the date of a manufacture, name of a drug, batch number, anticipated yield, actual yield, wastage, qualification, quantity of a raw materials. Then second one is the have to send copies of a invoice of a sale to licensing authority every 3 months. Store drug in a direct custody of a responsible person. Preparation must be labeled with the EXRX. Fifth, marketed in a packaging not extending in that 100 unit dose tablet or capsule, 300 ml oral liquids, 5 ml injection. Then fifth one is the loan license. Definition: a person who does not have any his own arrangement for a manufacture but who wish to avoid the manufacturing facilities owned by another license. Such a license are called as a loan license. Loan licenses are issued for first, drug other than specified in a C or a C1 and X. Then second, drug specified in a Schedule C or a C1. Procedure: a license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in a prescribed form number 24A, 27A with a prescribed fees 6,000 and 1,500. If the condition fulfilled, then the license is issued in a prescribed form number 25A and 28A. It also includes some conditions. The first one is the application must be supported by the parent firm. The second, drug inspector inspect the premises of a parent firm and assess the spare capacity. Then third, loan license is required to test each batch of a raw material and finished product. Then fourth, record of a testing should be maintained for 5 years or 2 years in a case of expiry date of drug. Fifth one, if the license is a parent firm is cancelled, then the loan license will also be deemed to suspended. Sixth one, patent or proprietary medicine should contain the constituent in a therapeutic quantities. Seven, patent medicine should be safe for use in the context of a vehicle and additives. 8. The ingredients and their quantities must have a therapeutic justification. 9th, the production must be supervised by competent person of a loan license. Then sixth one is the repackaging license. Definition: process of breaking up any drug from a bulk container into a small packages and labeling with a view to their sale and distribution. Repackaging of a drug is granted of a drug other than Schedule C or a C1 and X. Procedure: a license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in prescribed form number 24B with a prescribed fees rupees 500 and 200. If the conditions fulfilled, then the license is issued in a prescribed form number 25B. It also includes some conditions. The first one is the adequate space and equipment should be provided. Then second, repacking must be supervised by component person. Then third, adequate arrangement for analysis of a raw material and repacked drug. Fourth, maintain records of analysis for at least 3 years from the date of manufacture, 3 months for expiry dated drug. Fifth one, adequate space for storage of a drug. Sixth one, license should allow an inspector to inspect premises records to take sample of a drug. Seventh, license should be displayed on the premises. 8. Factory premises must comply with the condition in a schedule. Ninth, if any changes in competent staff, immediately inform to authority. In that slide, we're gonna start the penalties related to manufacture. First one is the offenses and second one is the penalties. In offenses, the manufacture of any spurious drug or adulterate drug cause death, and in penalties, imprisonment not less than 5 years, which may be extended to life imprisonment not less than 10,000 rupees fine, and 2 to 6 year imprisonment rupees 10,000 fine on subsequent conviction. In offenses, the manufacture of an adulterate drug not cause death, and a penalty is 1 to 3 years imprisonment and rupees 5,000 fine, and 2 to 6 years imprisonment and 10,000 rupees fine on subsequent conviction. Manufacture of a drug, contravention of the provision, and imprisonment from 1 to 2 years with a time. In that offenses, the person who do not keep records or disclose information, in a penalties, imprisonment up to 1 year and 1,000 rupees fine. In offenses, manufacturer who give a false variety that drug do not contravene any provision of the act, and in a penalties, imprisonment up to 1 year and 500 rupees fine or both. In that slide, we're gonna start the sale of a drugs. It includes classes of a drug prohibited to be sold. Then second, wholesale of a biological, that means C or C1 drugs. Third one, wholesale of a other than those specified in a C or a C1 and X drug. Then fourth one, wholesale of a scheduled X drug. Fifth one, retail sale. In that includes general license and restricted license. Then sixth one, offense and penalties. In that we can see the first, that is a class of a drug prohibited to be sold. In that, misbranded spurious adulterate drug not of a standard quality, or a patent proprietary drug with an undissolved formula, schedule J drug, expiry drugs, drug used for a consumption by government scheme such as ESIS, armed force, physician samples, drug manufacture in a contravention of the provision of the act. The next one is the wholesale of a biological C or a C1 drug. Procedure: a license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in prescribed form number 19C. The prescribed fee is 1,500. If the condition fulfilled, then license is issued in a prescribed form number 21B. It can include some conditions. The first one is the adequate premises, which should not be less than 10 m square, equipped with the facilities for proper storage of the drug. Then second, license should take precaution while storage. Then third, the drug should be sold only those persons who are licensed retail them. Then fourth, premises should be in the charge of the component person who is registered pharmacist or who has passed the matriculation examination with a 4-year experience in dealing with the drug. In that we can see the exemption. It does not apply to the sale of a drug to hospital institute, medicinal institute, educational institute, research institute, and government authorities. Fifth, for any additional category to see a license should obtain the permission. Then sixth, the record of a purchase and sale should be maintained under the following headlines. Seventh, date of a purchase and sales. Eight, name and or address of a firm whose purchase and person to whom sold. Nine, name and quantities and batch number of a drugs. Then 10, name of a manufacturers. 11, the record should be preserved for 3 years from the date of sale. Then 12, license should be displayed on premises. Then third one is the wholesale of a other than those specified in a C or a C1 Annex Drug procedure, a license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in prescribed form number 19 with the prescribed fees 1,500. If the condition fulfilled, the license is issued in a prescribed form number 20B. It includes condition: the license should comply with the provision of the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940 and rules thereunder. The compounding is made by or under the direct and personal supervision of a qualified person. The fourth one is the wholesale of a Schedule X procedure. A license is obtained from licensing authority from Food and Drug Control Administration on application in a prescribed form number 19C with the prescribed fees 500. If the condition fulfilled, then license is issued in a prescribed form number 20. It includes some conditions. The license should forward the licensing authority copies of the drug invoice of a sale made to the retail dealer. Then fifth one is the retail sale. Two licenses are issued. First one is the general license and second one is the restricted license. First we can see the general license. It means are granted to person who have premises for the business and who engaged the service of qualified person to supervise the sale and do compounding and dispensing. Issue for following categories other than those specified in Schedule C or a C1 and X drug. For a drug specified in a Schedule C or a C1 for a Schedule X drug. Then we can see some condition of retail sales. The first one is the license must have adequate premises 10 m square equipped with a facility for storage. Then second, requirements prescribed to run pharmacy as per Schedule N. Then third, all register and records should be prevented for 2 years. Then fourth, the license must allow an inspector to inspect the premises, register and records. Fifth, if any changes in qualified staff report to the licensing authority. Sixth, precautions should be taken for the storage of Schedule C or C1 drug. Seventh, the license should be displayed at a prominent place. 8. Maintain the inspection book. Then ninth one is the drug should be sold only to license holder. 10. Drug should be purchased from license manufacturer. 11. Do not stock and sell expiry dated drug. 12. No drug intended for physician sample, central government, a health scheme. 13. Veterinary product stored separately and labeled with a not for human use. 14. If the drug dispensed after compounding, it shall be recorded in a prescription register. In that slide, we gonna start the restricted license. It means granted to those dealers who do not engage the service of the qualified person and only deal with such a class of a drug whose sale can be effected without qualified person, and vendors who don't have fixed premises. Then it includes some conditions. The first one is the license can deal only in such a drug which can be sold without supervision of a qualified person. Then second, if license is vendor, he should buy drug only from a fixed dealer which is specified in his license. Then third, license has to take adequate precaution for preserving the properties of the drug. Then fourth, the license should be prominently displayed in the premises. In a case of a vendor, it should remain on his person. Then fifth, the drug should be sold in their original containers. Then sixth, the drug should be purchased only from a duly licensed dealer or a manufacturer. In that last slide, we can see the offenses and penalties. In offenses, anyone who sells any adulterated or spurious drug which likely to cause death, penalties for first conviction 5 year to lifetime imprisonment and 10,000 rupees fine. Then penalties for a subsequent conviction, imprisonment up to 10 years or 20,000 rupees fine. Then in offenses, sales of any adulterate for a spurious drug which is not likely to cause death. First conviction includes to 3 years imprisonment and 5,000 rupees fine. In penalties for a subsequent conviction, 2 to 6 year imprisonment and 10,000 rupees fine. Then in offences, sales of any drug in a contravention of a provision of the Act, in a penalties, 1 to 2 years imprisonment and a fine. In a penalties for a subsequent conviction, 2 to 6 year imprisonment and 5,000 rupees fine. In offences, if records are not kept and information not disclosed, then penalties 3 years imprisonment for a 1,000 rupees fine or both. In a subsequent conviction, 3 to 6 years imprisonment